Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Okay, I'm a bit sickish, the usual change of season flu, and I have a mouth infection. So if I don't sound like myself and you hear some coughing in the background, I will try to cut most of it out. But if you hear some, then you will know why. A quick thank you to those of you who are so patient with me and knowledgeable about our circumstances here in South Africa. We are still on stage 6, load shedding, and it is particularly difficult when the 4 hours or longer outage hits us during the day. In the 4 or 5 hours or so that we have electricity, we have to do everything we can to catch up on our normal day-to-day routine. Do the washing, prepare food, go to the bank, and so on and so on. As a small family, we are doing our best to get the things we need to help our circumstances. We have a little one-plate gas stove to boil water on or quickly cook up something. We bought rechargeable globes for the largest part of the house. The house already has a gas geyser when we moved in, and a few days ago we were gifted an inverter to keep our Wi-Fi on a little longer. However, does it all work? Yes and no. Since we installed the inverter, the power has not been on long enough for it to charge properly. So it has only been able to keep our Wi-Fi on for about 30 minutes longer. We ran out of gas for the geyser only to find that our supplier does not have gas at the moment and only expect to get their next delivery next week. No matter how you look at it, it is a disaster all around. The only viable solutions are generators and or solar panels, but it is expensive. And besides that, it requires installation, which requires holes drilled in the roof or walls, and we are currently in a rental home, which will mean that you either have to leave the costly installations behind or go through the expense of having everything repaired and returned to its original condition. For us personally, it is a disaster as both my daughter and I work and earn part of our income on our laptops and via the internet. And my grandson is being homeschooled. Anyway, enough about me and my woes, and back to the royals. I'm allowing the tips and gossip to pile up a little because I prefer to do my due diligence and do some checking and homework before I bring gossip to you. And at the moment, it is a little early to do so. Like I said before, let everyone just settle in a little and get on with their lives, and we will soon enough find out what is happening. However, I did get a piece of gossip which does sound like a very likely and probable scenario to me, and thus I am not too stressed about bringing it to you. During and since Her Majesty's funeral, I had a feeling that something happened among the closer or core family, and I just could not shake the feeling at all. I felt that there was something more than what was shown and said in the media. So let's start from the top as it was told and pointed out to me. There are now stories that Harry was not told about the Queen's dire situation and that he learned of it via the media or social media. That is not true. The family was informed strictly according to protocol. Princess Anne was with her mother, so there was no need to inform her. King Charles was in Scotland, but not at Balmoral. According to protocol, he was informed first, then William, then Harry, Andrew, and Edward. It is possible that Princess Anne spoke to her brothers Andrew and Edward before and during the news and arrangements. But, according to protocol, the members of the family were contacted by senior aides according to rank, and Harry was included in the process. Now, I was told this as a fact. It is also now said that William, Andrew, and Edward did not want Harry on the plane with them. According to my source, this is absolutely also not true. Harry was told and informed of the time the flight would leave and indeed invited along. However, he was late, and after about a 15-minute delay, it was a joint decision to leave without him. My source could not state it as a fact, but she states that it is likely true that Harry's delay was caused by a telephonic argument with his father, who told him that he was to come alone, and a resulting argument with his wife thereafter. Harry thus missed the chartered flight and had to take a commercial flight 45 minutes later. According to my source, it is also not true that Harry snubbed Charles or Charles snubbed Harry by not having dinner together that night. Just like with any other human being, and a little more so, because she was the Queen. There is a whole process to go through when someone passes away at home. According to my source, the last documents verifying the Queen's death, etc., was signed at around 6:20 p.m. Thereafter, an exhausted Charles and William left for Charles's private residence. It was not a snub. It was a necessity, as from there and after dinner they had to be briefed on a multitude of matters for the coming days. Certain and most things were arranged prior to the Queen's passing, but as no one can predict the exact minute or hour of your death, there are always private matters to still work out. And as Charles became not only king, but also the head of the family, and William, his second in command, the same applied to them. Harry was, however, not sent to McDonald's, but received refreshments at Balmoral along with the rest of the family members who were there. Now, the walkabout. Some are saying that Charles ordered it, and others that William decided on it to prevent them from going out alone. According to my source, it was not ordered by anyone, but it was decided mostly by William himself to do it that way, as it was normal procedure that the members of the family will come out at various times during their hectic schedule to view the flowers and tributes and to show their appreciation to the public. It is normal that it would include close family members like children and grandchildren. And indeed, we saw Eugenie, Beatrice, Zara, Peter, and Louise join their parents in doing so. There was no way William or Charles could have prevented Harry and Meghan to walk out to view the tributes just like any other member of the public, and thus it was decided to arrange it this way. According to my source, the public gathering outside Windsor were informed 2 hours prior to the walkabout that the Prince and Princess of Wales would be coming out to greet them and admire the tributes, but they were unaware that Harry and Meghan would join them. The invitation to the Harkles allegedly came in that 2 hour period, and although a time was given to Harry and Meghan to meet up with William and Catherine, Approximately half an hour before the walk, true to form, Harry and Meghan were late arriving. From what I'm told, there was a bit of a back and forth between the couples, resulting in them stepping out later than expected. My source is not exactly sure what was said, as it all happened privately behind closed doors, and thus leaks would likely not be accurate. But being familiar with royal protocol, she is guessing that William tried to lay down some rules and that there was some disagreement over those rules. The reason she is saying it is because she had observed Diana's and Prince Philip's funeral and is familiar with what is expected and considered appropriate action and manners from husbands and wives of extended family. She pointed out to me that Jack, Edo, and Mike did not accompany Eugenie, Beatrice, and Zara at their walkabout at Balmoral. She explained that normally, and in particular in the case of the royals and elite families, there is a hierarchy even in death. Children first, grandchildren second, and everyone else after that. It is her opinion and guess that William invited Harry and Meghan along, but on condition that Meghan, or Harry and Meghan, do not step out among the public, or even that Meghan do not join them at all. Well, that did not work out, did it? What is not a guess from our source is that regardless of William's good intentions, this was the first occasion of a few where Meghan caused the royals' blood pressure to rise. When it was accepted that she was to join them, she was told in no uncertain terms to stick to protocol, to do what she was told, and not to pull any stunts. But did she? Of course not. We all saw the interchange between her and one of the aides when he tried to take the flowers from her. This was indeed viewed as yet again bad behavior by Meghan towards staff, and of course just plain dumb. The line was long, and if she did not hand over the flowers, she would not have been able to carry them or shake hands further down the line. But apparently, and I'm being told this as a fact, Meghan wanted to be photographed laying the flowers for the Queen. She wanted to be photographed in a performance, wiping away a tear while laying the flowers. And this was not going to happen, not on William's watch. And a senior aide was quickly dispatched to take the flowers from her. Now, no one knows what happened during the private dinner at Buckingham, but something did. I'm told that the family was not even done with their dessert when King Charles called it a day and asked to speak to Harry and Meghan privately. From what I'm told, it was a rather short talk, and he showed them out shortly afterwards, whereafter he left the palace himself looking grim. Staff was rather surprised that the dinner ended so early, but was told that the king and queen consort were fatigued and needed to rest. But there are others who said that the atmosphere was so thick that it could be cut with a knife, and although there was a general sadness, most family members tried to stay even keel, and only Harry and Meghan left looking like they were ready to go to war. The next day, at the Thanksgiving service, everything was going swimmingly until Meghan performed that deep curtsy, showing off the brand name of her shoes and handbag. At first, no one in the royal family was aware of it, but when aides and staff picked up on it via social media, there was hell to play. Although my source is again speculating, the Harkles were read the Riot Act, and that was the very reason why Meghan was not on the balcony watching Harry stand vigil at his grandmother's coffin. According to my source, and this is something she heard secondhand, Meghan was banned outright. The family was not going to allow her attention-seeking behavior to mar the respect shown for their mother. From what I'm told, they felt they could not ban her from the funeral as it would have been bad optics, but allegedly they came very close to doing so. From what I'm told, the funeral did nothing to smooth things over, and as a matter of fact, actually made things worse. Whereas extended family had to date stayed out of and away from the tense situation between Charles, William, Harry, and Meghan, whatever had happened and was said behind the scenes, particularly during the dinner, has now caused the other royals, minor royals, and spouses included, to close rank and pick sides. And they are not picking Harry and Meghan's side. I'm told that Mike Tyndall, Jack and Eugenie and others will henceforth stay as far away from the Harkles as is humanly possible. I'm also told that my own guesswork is fairly accurate and that the message to the Harkles henceforth is simple. Harry will always be family and there will always be a place for him in the family. We are not talking about the monarchy here, but Meghan is done as far as the family is concerned. I'm told that it is true that William leaked false information to test them, or then Meghan, and that it was indeed William who told Harry and Meghan that Her Majesty's coffin will be transported by train from Scotland to England, although it was decided long before the Queen's death that she will be transported by plane should she pass in Scotland, and it was already noted in the itinerary as such. But you know, like I do, that Meghan is so anxious to get things out first, to cause a stir, that she does not bother to check her facts, and hence William is convinced that it is again the Harkles or their people who leaked the false information to Omid Scobie. I asked whether my source thinks this was the straw that broke the camel's back. And although she thinks it is possible, she thinks it is a little more than that and rather a combination of things. Those we knew about and those we will never know about. Like my previous source, she is not prepared to venture a guess about the titles and everything else, but she agrees with the previous person that it had been discussed at length before the Queen's death, but that King Charles had not given his final decision yet. It is her guess that he won't leave it hanging though, and that we'll likely have answers within the next few weeks to a month. Like my previous source, she feels that it is unlikely that Charles will bestow further titles on Harry or any on his children. She also told me something very interesting, but which she refused to elaborate on. She said that it would cause dissatisfaction and unhappiness among other European royal families if Charles decides to bestow titles on the Harkle children. Now, I do not understand that statement at all, but maybe some of my British subscribers will. I'm just putting it out there as it was told to me. So if any of you understand that statement or have an idea what it is about, please let me know. In closing, I was told by someone else, someone who is an occasional viewer of my channel, that it is definitely true that Sunshine Sachs withdrew from the Harkles and not the other way around. I'm also told that, again, my guesswork was fairly accurate and that Sunshine Sachs was indeed embarrassed and irate by some of the stories Meghan had her own staff put out in the media. She tells me that for now, Meghan Markle will handle their PR herself with the help of Archewell staff. She tells me that Meghan had already, prior and during the funeral process, had her staff make contact with a variety of media outlets, publishers, producers, and so on. At this point, no one is certain exactly what to expect, but my viewer tells me that it is likely that the podcast will resume mid-October, that she had been in contact with Penguin and that there is no official plan to delay Harry's book any longer, and that the Netflix documentary is still planned around Christmas time. As far as she knows, Meghan's Jimmy Fallon interview will also still go ahead as she had not heard anything to the contrary. However, as this viewer understands my current communication issues, she will do me a favor and make a phone call or two in the next week or so and keep me informed if and when she hears anything. Okay, folks, that is about all I have for you today. Like I said, it is still a little slow on the news front, but I can feel it in my bones that we may get a number of bombshells coming from the royals and ex-royals in the months to come. I'm also working on some stuff for my other YouTube channel and the website, so look out for some links over the weekend. Okay, guys and girls, so until we meet on the next one, please take good care of yourselves. Bye. Let me go and cough my lungs out. Cheers.